Knowing the truth ruined me, not in some poetic, metaphorical way where I emerged wiser or stronger or enlightened, but in the slow, corrosive, irreparable way where everything that used to feel vivid and important became dull, weightless, meaningless. I don't mean some vague philosophical idea of truth, some abstract concept you can debate over coffee. I mean the truth about how people are, about how this world works, about what lies beneath every smiling face and handshake and promise and institution. The truth you don't get in school, the one you're not supposed to say out loud, the one that makes people squirm when you mention it, because deep down, they've felt it too. The truth that most things we chase are distractions, that most people are pretending, that meaning is a story we tell ourselves to get through the unbearable weight of existence. And once you see that for what it is, you can't close your eyes. Again, it clings to you. It bleeds into everything you do. It strips the color from every experience. And you start to realize how much of your life was built on carefully crafted illusions. I wasn't always like this. I used to believe in people, in love, in the idea that if you worked hard and kept your head down and treated others well, things would work out, that there was some invisible, cosmic order to it all, that good things eventually came to good people, that the suffering made sense in some larger scheme. And then the truth arrived, not all at once, but in pieces, like puzzle fragments that slowly clicked together over years of betrayals, losses, silence, and the quiet indifference of a world too busy with its own noise to notice. And the picture it formed wasn't profound. It wasn't tragic or beautiful. It was empty. It was a machine built on survival, instinct, impulse, and power. A world where kindness is weakness, where sincerity is currency quickly devalued, where everything that claims to be noble is usually a disguise for something selfish, where people do what benefits them and retroactively write themselves as the hero in whatever version of the story makes them sleep at night. Knowing the truth ruined me, because it made me hyper-aware of every transaction disguised as affection, every compliment that doubles as manipulation, every friendship held together by convenience and proximity, every cause corrupted by ego. It made me see how disposable we are to each other, how loyalty is situational, how easily people can erase you from their lives when it stops being easy or beneficial. And I stopped trusting, not out of paranoia, but because the evidence became too overwhelming to ignore, the patterns too consistent, the gap between words and actions too wide. You start to notice how quickly people will moralize suffering they don't have to feel, how those in comfort will lecture the broken on gratitude, how everyone becomes a philosopher when it's not their world on fire. It ruined me because it hollowed out the things that used to hold me together, the comfort of family, the promise of love, the camaraderie of friendship, the illusion of progress, the belief in meaning. I watch people chase titles, money, validation, partners, status symbols, and I can't connect with it anymore. Not because I think I'm above it, but because I've seen what it amounts to. Temporary highs, followed by emptiness. A new car, a promotion, a relationship, 100,000 followers, all momentary victories on a scoreboard no one's actually keeping. And underneath it all, the same hunger, the same ache, the same desperate need for something that lasts, something that makes it make sense. And there's nothing. The older you get, the more you realize the finish line keeps moving. The goals get replaced, and the promises break. Knowing the truth ruined me because it stripped away the shield of hope. Hope was a drug, one I chased for years. The idea that things would get better, that the pain would pass, that some turning point would arrive if I held out long enough, that somewhere down the road I'd wake up to a version of life that felt worth it. But the truth is, for some of us, it never arrives. For some of us, life is a long, slow grind of repetition and loss, punctuated by brief, artificial distractions to keep us from collapsing under the weight of it. And you realize that most people aren't living, they're maintaining, holding their heads above water long enough to reach the next distraction. And the rare ones who claim to have found peace are usually lying or too detached to feel anything anymore. It ruined me because it made beauty feel artificial. I used to find meaning in sunsets, in books, in music, in the small, quiet moments. But now I see how everything is sold back to us as a product, how every authentic thing gets commodified, packaged, branded, repurposed as content, how art isn't created anymore, it's manufactured for engagement, how sincerity feels like a relic of a different era, replaced by curated vulnerability, marketable sadness, and carefully edited imperfection designed to be palatable, profitable, and safe. You start to see the strings behind every production, the script behind every conversation, the motive behind every gesture, and it makes it hard to believe in anything pure. Knowing the truth ruined me because it made me aware of how little any of this means, how we assign arbitrary value to things to distract from the terrifying fact that none of it lasts, that we're born into a machine that chews through generations and leaves nothing behind but wreckage and stories we tell ourselves to feel significant. That history repeats, not because we don't learn, but because we don't care, because convenience always wins over principle, because comfort will always outweigh justice, because fear is a currency too valuable to give up. And you realize you've been playing a game where the rules were always rigged, where survival isn't about virtue but strategy. And now the future feels empty, not because I expect catastrophe, but because I don't expect anything. The excitement for what's ahead, the anticipation of new chapters, the belief in fresh starts, it all feels hollow now. I'm not scared of death. I'm not scared of pain. I'm scared of the monotony, of the years blending together into a blur of trivial moments, of existing without reason, of watching myself fade quietly into irrelevance while the world continues its relentless, meaningless spin. And what's left after that? Memories no one will care about, conversations that meant nothing, attachments that faded when it got inconvenient. Knowing the truth ruined me because it stripped away the illusion that people are good by nature, that systems can be fixed, that anything truly changes. It taught me that empathy decays, that kindness without incentive is rare, that power always protects itself, and that the weight of this world will crush those unwilling to betray their own conscience. And once you see that, you stop expecting anything different. You stop being surprised, and a part of you dies with that. But the cruelest part is you keep moving, you keep working, keep nodding through conversations, keep making plans you don't care about, because what else is there to do? And it's not bravery, it's not resilience, it's just inertia. The body keeps going, even when the soul's checked out, and people don't notice because the performance still works. And the world doesn't ask if you mean it, it just asks if you'll show up.